Okay, we're taking up at text number 49. If I do not receive Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's mercy, my body and my kingdom are certainly useless. This is an excellent example of Dridhavrata, determination. If one does not receive the Supreme Personality of Godhead's mercy, one's life is defeated. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 5.5.5, it is said, Parabhavastavad Bodha Jato Yavan Jignasata Atma Tattvam. Unless one inquires into spiritual life, everything is useless. Without spiritual inquiry, our labor and the object of our labor are simply a waste of time. Hearing King Prataparudra's determination, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became thoughtful. Indeed, he was very much astonished to see the king's determination. Purport, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was astonished because such determination is not possible for a worldly man attached to material enjoyment. The king certainly had ample opportunity for material enjoyment, but he was thinking that his kingdom and everything else was useless if he could not see Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. This is certainly sufficient cause for astonishment. In Śrīmad Bhāgavatam it is said that bhakti, devotional service, must be unconditional. No material impediments can actually check the advancement of devotional service, be it executed by a common man or a king. In any case, devotional service rendered to the Lord is always complete, despite the devotee's material position. Devotional service is so exalted that it can be executed by anyone in any position. One must simply be Dridhavrata, firmly determined. Finally, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, My dear king, do not worry. Because of your firm determination, I am sure that Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's mercy will definitely be bestowed upon you. Due to King Prataparudra's firm determination, the Bhattacharya predicted that the king would receive Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's mercy without fail. As confirmed elsewhere in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Guru Krishna Prasadi Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. By the mercy of the spiritual master in Krishna, one gets the seed of devotional service. The Bhattacharya was the spiritual master of King Prataparudra, and he gave his blessings to the effect that the Lord would be merciful upon the king. The mercy of the spiritual master and Krishna combine to grant success to a devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed by the Vedas. Yasya Devi Parabhaktir Yata Devi Tata Garo Tasyaite Katita Yarta Prakashante Mahatmanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Maharaj Prataparudra had firm faith in the Bhattacharya, who declared Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Having firm faith in the Bhattacharya as his spiritual master, King Prataparudra immediately accepted Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu as the Supreme Lord. Thus he began worshipping Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu in his mind. This is the process of devotional service. According to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 9:34, Manmana Pavamad Bhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mami Vaishyasi Yukvaivam Atmanam Parayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me and worship me, being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. This process is very simple. One need only be firmly convinced by the spiritual master that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one decides this, he can make further progress by thinking of Krishna, chanting of Hare Krishna and glorifying him. There is then no doubt that such a fully surrendered devotee will receive the blessings of Lord Krishna. Srila Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya explains this further. As soon as the Bhattacharya saw the king's firm determination, he declared, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is approached only by pure love. Your love for Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is very, very deep. Therefore, without a doubt, he will be merciful upon you. Purport: such determination is the first qualification. As confirmed by Rupa Goswami, Upadeshamrita 3, Utsaha Nishchaya Dharayat. One must first have firm determination, firm faith. When one engages in devotional service, he must maintain this firm determination. Then Krishna will be pleased with his service. The spiritual master can show the path of devotional service. If the disciple follows the principles rigidly and undeviatingly, he will certainly receive the mercy of Krishna. This is confirmed by the Shastra. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then suggested there is one means by which you can directly see him. On the day of the car festival, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu will dance before the deity in great ecstatic love. On that Rath Yatra festival day, after dancing before the Lord, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu will enter the Gundicha garden. At that time, you should go there alone, without your royal dress. When Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu enters the Gundicha garden, you should go there and read the 5 chapters of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam about Lord Krishna's dancing with the gopis. In this way, you can catch hold of the Lord's lotus feet. Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu will be in a mood of ecstatic love, without external consciousness. At that time, as you recite those chapters from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, he will embrace you, knowing you to be a pure devotee, a pure Vaishnava. Purport: a Vaishnava is always ready to help another Vaishnava progress toward realization of the absolute truth. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya could understand the king's position as a pure Vaishnava. The king was always thinking of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and the Bhattacharya wanted to help him approach the Lord. A Vaishnava is always compassionate, especially when he sees a prospective devotee very determined, Dhritavrata. Consequently, the Bhattacharya was ready to help the king. The Lord has already changed his mind due to Ramananda Roy's description of your pure love for him. Purport: at first the Lord did not want to see the king, but due to the Bhattacharya's and Ramananda Roy's earnest endeavors, the Lord's mind was changed. The Lord already declared that Krishna would be merciful upon the king due to the king's service to the devotees. This is the process by which one can advance in Krishna consciousness. First there must be the devotee's mercy, then Krishna's mercy will descend. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati kutopi. Our first duty, therefore, is to satisfy the spiritual master, who can arrange for the Lord's mercy. A common man must first begin to serve the spiritual master or the devotee. Then, through the mercy of the devotee, the Lord will be satisfied. Unless one receives the dust of a devotee's lotus feet on one's head, there is no possibility of advancement. This is also confirmed by a statement of Prahlad Maharaj's in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 7.532. Naisham matista vadadukramangrim sprishat yanarto pagamo yadartaha mahiya sampadarajopi shekam iskinchananam navranita yavat. Unless one approaches a pure devotee, he cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maharaj Prataparuja worshipped both Ramananda Roy and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Thus he touched the lotus feet of pure devotees and was able thereby to approach Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Maharaj Prataparuja took the Bhattacharya's advice and firmly decided to follow his instructions. Thus he felt transcendental happiness. When the king asked the Bhattacharya when the bathing ceremony, Snanayatra of Jagannath, would take place, the Bhattacharya replied that there were only 3 days left before the ceremony. After thus encouraging the king, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya returned home. On the day of Lord Jagannath's bathing ceremony, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was very happy at heart. Upon seeing the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu became very happy. But when Lord Jagannath arrived after the ceremony, Lord Chaitanya retired after the ceremony, Lord Chaitanya became very unhappy because he could not see him. After the bathing ceremony of Lord Jagannath, which takes place just a fortnight before the Rath Yatra ceremony, the body of the Lord Jagannath deity is repainted, and this takes just about a fortnight to complete. This period is called Anavasara. There are many who visit the temple to see Lord Jagannath regularly every day, and for them his retirement after the bathing ceremony is unbearable. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu felt Lord Jagannath's absence from the temple very much. Due to separation from Lord Jagannath, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu felt the same great anxiety the gopis feel in separation from Krishna. In this condition, he gave up all association and went to Alalanath. The devotees who had followed the Lord came into his presence and requested him to return to Puri. They submitted that the devotees from Bengal were coming to Puruṣottama Kshetra. In this way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya brought Lord Chaitanya back to Jagannath Puri. He then went to King Prataparudra and informed him of the Lord's arrival. At this time, Gopinath Acharya came there while Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was with King Prataparudra. Being a Brahmana, he offered his benediction to the king and addressed Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya as follows. About 200 devotees are coming from Bengal. All of them are greatly advanced and specifically devoted to Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. All of them have already arrived on the bank of Lake Narendra and are waiting there. I desire residential quarters and prasadam arrangements for them. Purport: Narendra is a small lake still existing in Jagannath Puri where the Chandan Yatra festival takes place. Up to the present date, all the Bengali devotees who visit the Jagannath temple first take their bath in this lake. There they wash their hands and feet before entering the temple. The king replied, I shall give orders to the attendant in the temple. He will arrange for everyone's residential quarters and prasadam as you desire. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, please show me, one after another, all of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's devotees who are coming from Bengal. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya requested the king, go up on the roof of the palace. Gopinath Acharya knows every one of the devotees. He will identify them for you. Actually, I do not know any of them, although I have a desire to know them. Since Gopinath Acharya knows them all, he will give you their names. After Sarvabhauma said this, he went up to the top of the palace with the king and Gopinath Acharya. At this time, all the Vaishnava devotees from Bengal drew closer to the palace. Swarup Damodar and Govinda, taking the flower garlands and prasadam of Lord Jagannath, proceeded to where the Vaishnavas were standing. Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu first sent those two persons in advance. The king inquired, who are these two? Please let me know of their identities. Śrī Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, here is Swarup Damodar, who is practically the second expansion of the body of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. The second person is Govinda, Lord Chaitanya's personal servant. The Lord has sent garlands and remnants of Lord Jagannath's food with these two persons simply to honor the devotees from Bengal. At the beginning, Swarup Damodar came forward and garlanded Advaita Acharya. Govinda next came and offered a second garland to Advaita Acharya. When Govinda offered his obeisances by falling down flat before Advaita Acharya, Advaita Acharya asked Swarup Damodar about his identity, for he did not know Govinda at that time. Swarup Damodar informed him, Govinda was the servant of Ishwara Puri. He is very highly qualified. Ishwara Puri ordered Govinda to serve Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, thus the Lord keeps him by his side. The king inquired, to whom did Swarup Damodar and Govinda offer the two garlands? His bodily effulgence is so great that he must be a great devotee. Please let me know who he is. Gopinath Acharya replied, his name is Advaita Acharya. He is honored even by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and he is therefore the topmost devotee. Here are Srivas Pandit, Brahmeshwar Pandit, Vidyanidhi Acharya, and Gadadhar Pandit. Here are Acharya Ratna, Purandara Pandit, Gangadas Pandit, and Shankara Pandit. Here are Murari Gupta, Pandit Narayan, and Haridas Thakur, the deliverer of the whole universe. Here is Hari Bhatta, and there is Nrsinganandana. Here are Vasudev Dutt and Shivananda Sain. Here are also Govinda Ghosh, Madhava Ghosh, and Vasudev Ghosh. They are three brothers, and their Sankirtan, congregational chanting, pleases the Lord very much. Purport. Govinda Ghosh belonged to the Kayastha dynasty of the Uttara Radhya section, and he was known as Ghosh Thakur. Even to the present day, there is a place named Agradweep near Katwa, where a fair takes place and is named after Ghosh Thakur. As far as Vasudev Ghosh is concerned, he composed many nice songs about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and these are all authorized Vaishnava songs, like the songs of Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Lochan Das Thakur, Govinda Das Thakur, and other great Vaishnavas. Bona fide Vasudev Ghosh bhajans. 89. Here is Raghava Pandit. Here is Acharya Nandana. There is Śrīmad Pandit. And here are Shrikant and Narayan. Purport. Narottam Das Thakur, honoring the personal associates of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, has sung as follows in Prarthana. Gaurangera Shange Gane Nitya-siddha Karimane Se Jaya Rajendra Sutapash. One who is intelligent understands that all the personal associates and devotees of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are ever liberated. This means that because they are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, they do not belong to this material world. One who is engaged in the Lord's devotional service 24 hours daily and never forgets the Lord is called Nitya-siddha. Srila Rupa Goswami confirms this statement. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasa gira nikilastyapyavastastu jivan muktasa uchate. A person acting in the service of Krishna with body, mind, intelligence, and words is a liberated person even within the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities. A devotee is always thinking of how better to serve Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how to broadcast his name, fame, and qualities throughout the world. One who is Nitya-siddha has no business other than the broadcasting of the glories of the name all over the world according to his ability. Such people are already associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur says, Nitya-siddha Karimani. One should not think that because Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was personally present 500 years ago, only his associates were liberated. Rather, Srila Narottam Das Thakur says that anyone is a Nitya-siddha if he acts on behalf of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by spreading the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Hari Hari. We should respect those devotees preaching the glories of the Lord as Nitya-siddha and should not consider them conditioned. Mamchayo vyabhicharina bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitaitam brahmapuhyaya kalpate. One who has transcended the material modes of nature is said to be on the Brahman platform. That is also the platform of Nitya-siddha. The Nitya-siddha not only stays on the Brahman platform but also works on that platform. Simply by accepting the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Nitya-siddha, one can very easily go back home, back to Godhead. Gopinath Acharya continued to point out the devotees. Here is Shuklambar. See, there is Sridhar. Here is Vijay. And there is Ballabhasain. Here is Puruṣottama, and there is Sanjaya. And here are all the residents of Kulina Gram, such as Satyaraj Khan and Ramananda. Indeed, all of them are present here. Please see. Here are Mukunda Das, Narhari, Sri Raghunandana, Chiranjib, and Sulochan, all residents of Kanda. How many names shall I speak to you? All the devotees you see here are associates of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, who is their life and soul. The king said, upon seeing all these devotees, I am very much astonished, for I have never seen such an effulgence. Indeed, their effulgence is like the brilliance of 1,000,000 suns, nor have I ever heard the Lord's name chanted so melodiously. Purport: such are the symptoms of pure devotees when they are chanting. All the pure devotees are as bright as sunshine, and their bodily luster is very effulgent. In addition, their performance of Sankirtan is unparalleled. There are many professional chanters who can perform congregational chanting with various musical instruments in an artistic and musical way, but their chanting cannot be as attractive as the congregational chanting of pure devotees. If a devotee sticks strictly to the principles governing Vaishnava behavior, his bodily luster will naturally be attractive, and his singing and chanting of the holy names of the Lord will be effective. People will appreciate such kirtan without hesitation. Even dramas about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya or Sri Krishna should be played by devotees. The students of the International Site for Krishna Consciousness should note these 2 points and try to apply these principles in spreading of the Lord's glories. Which 2 principles? Kirtan and doing dramas. Yes?
One sentence was...
Did I leave out a sentence? Where was it?
Such dramas will immediately interest the audience full of poets.
Where is it?
Before the last.
The students of the International Site for Krishna Consciousness. Such dramas will immediately interest an audience and be full of potency. Hari Hari. I have never before seen such ecstatic love, nor heard the vibration of the holy name of the Lord chanted in such a way, nor seen such dancing during Sankirtan. Because the temple of Lord Jagannath is situated at Jagannath Puri, many devotees from all parts of the world come to perform Sankirtan in glorification of the Lord. All these devotees were certainly seen and heard by Maharaj Prataparuja, but he herein admits that the kirtan performed by the associates of the Lord was unique. He had never before heard such Sankirtan, nor seen such attractive features manifest by the devotees. The members of the International Site for Krishna Consciousness should go to India during the birthday ceremony of Lord Chaitanya Mahāprabhu at Mayapur and perform Sankirtan congregationally. This will attract the attention of all the important personalities in India, just as the beauty, bodily luster, and Sankirtan performance by the associates of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu attracted the attention of Maharaj Prataparuja. The associates of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu were unlimited during the Lord's presence on this planet. But anyone who is pure in life and devoted to the mission of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is to be understood as a Nitya-siddha associate of the Lord. Second time Prabhupada said it. He just put it in again. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, this sweet transcendental sound is a special creation of the Lord known as Prem Sankirtan, congregational chanting and love of Godhead. In this age of Kali, Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu has descended to preach the religion of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna is the religious principle for the age. Anyone Avatari Chaitanya Kaila. Avatari Chaitanya. Anyone who worships Lord Chaitanya by congregational chanting should be understood to be very intelligent. One who does not do so must be considered a victim of this age and bereft of all intelligence. Rascals propose that anyone can invent his own religious process, and this proposition is condemned herein. If one actually wants to become religious, he must take up the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. The real meaning of religion is stated in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 6.3, 19-22. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam navai vidurishayanapi deva niseda mukya asuram samusya kutascha vidyadara charanadaya swayambhu narada shambhu komara kapilo manu pralado janako bhishmo valir Vaisesika Dasa Dvadashaite vijanimo dharmam bhagavatam bata kukyam vishudam dorbhodam yam gyatvam ashnute etavanneva lokesmin pumsam dharma parasmritaha bhakti yogo bhagavati tannama grahanadipi. The purport of these verses is that dharma or religion cannot be manufactured by a human being. Religion is the law or code of the Lord. Consequently, religion cannot be manufactured even by great saintly persons, demigods, or siddha mukyas. And what to speak of asuras, human beings, vidyadharas, charanas, and so on. The principle of dharma, religion, the principles come down in the parampara system, beginning with 12 personalities, namely Lord Brahma, the great saint Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, King Janak, Grandfather Bhishma, Bali Maharaj, Shukadeva Goswami, and Yamaraj. The principles of religion are known to these 12 personalities. Dharma refers to the religious principles by which one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma is very confidential, uncontaminated by any material influence, and very difficult for ordinary men to understand. However, if one accurately understands Dharma, he immediately becomes liberated and is transferred to the kingdom of God. Bhagavat Dharma, or the principle of religion enunciated by the parampara system, is the supreme principle of religion. In other words, Dharma refers to the science of Bhakti Yoga, which begins by the novices chanting the holy name of the Lord, Tannama Grahanadibi. Therefore, in this age of Kali, as recommended here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, text 98, Kali Kali Dharma Krishna Nama Sankirtan. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the method of religion approved by the Vedic scriptures. In the next text of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, quoted from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 11.532, this principle is further stressed. Krishna Varnam Tvasha Krishnam Sango Pangashtra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayer Yajantihi Samedasaha. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. For an explanation of this verse, refer to Adi Leela, chapter 3, verse 52. Raja kahe, Shastra pramani Chaitanya hoy Krishna, tabe kene pandit shab tahate vitrishna. The king said, according to evidence given in the revealed scriptures, it is concluded that Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is Lord Krishna himself. Why then are learned scholars sometimes indifferent to him? Bhatta kahe. The Bhattacharya replied, a person who has received but a small fraction of the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu can understand that he is Lord Krishna. No one else can. The Sankirtan movement can be spread by a person who is especially favored by Lord Krishna. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tar Pravartana. Without first obtaining the mercy of the Lord, one cannot spread the holy name of the Lord. One who can spread the Lord's name is called Labdha Chaitanya. In the words of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, the Labdha Chaitanya is one who has actually awakened his original consciousness, Krishna consciousness. The influence of the pure devotees in Krishna consciousness is such that it can awaken others to become immediately Krishna conscious and engage themselves in the transcendental loving service of Krishna. In this way, the descendants of pure devotees increase. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes much pleasure in seeing the increase of his devotees. The word sumedasa means sharply intelligent. When one's intelligence is sharp, he can increase the interests of common men in loving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and through him in loving Radha Krishna. Those not interested in understanding Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu are simply material in their attempts at professional chanting and dancing for money, despite their supposed artistry. If one does not have full faith in Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he cannot properly chant and dance. In the Sankirtan movement, artificial chanting and dancing may be due to sentiments or sentimental agitation, but this cannot help one advance in Krishna consciousness. If the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not bestowed upon a person, regardless of how learned a scholar that person may be, and regardless of his seeing or listening, he cannot accept Lord Chaitanya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same principles can be applied to demoniac persons, even though they be in the sampradaya of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Without receiving the Lord's special power, one cannot preach his glories all over the world. Even though one may celebrate himself as a learned follower of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, and even though one may attempt to preach the holy name of the Lord all over the world, if he is not favored by Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, he will find fault with the pure devotee and will not be able to understand how a preacher is empowered by Lord Chaitanya. One must be considered bereft of the mercy of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu when he criticizes the Krishna consciousness movement now spreading all over the world, or finds fault with this movement or the leader of the movement. Lord Brahma said, "My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years." That verse is from Lord Brahma. The king said, instead of visiting the temple of Lord Jagannath, all the devotees are running toward the residence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya replied, "This is spontaneous love. All the devotees are very anxious to meet Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu. First the devotees will meet Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu and then take him with them to the temple to see Lord Jagannath." The king said, the son of Bhavananda Roy, named Vaninath, along with the 5 or 7 other men, went there to obtain the remnants of Lord Jagannath's food. Indeed, Vaninath has already gone to the residence of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and has taken a huge quantity of Mahaprasadam. Please let me know the reason for this. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, understanding that all the devotees have come, Lord Chaitanya gave the sign, and therefore Vaninath and the others have brought such great quantities of Mahaprasadam. He gave the sign. The king then asked the Bhattacharya, why have the devotees not observed the regulations for visiting the pilgrimage place, such as fasting, shaving, and so on? Why have they first eaten prasadam? The Bhattacharya told the king, what you have said is right, according to the regulative principles governing the visiting of holy places. But there is another path, which is the path of spontaneous love. According to those principles, there are subtle intricacies involved in the execution of religious principles. According to the Vedic regulative principles, one has to be celibate before entering a holy place of pilgrimage. Generally, people are very much addicted to sense gratification, and unless they have sex at night, they cannot sleep. The regulative principles therefore enjoin that before a common man goes to a holy place of pilgrimage, he should observe complete celibacy. As soon as one enters a holy place, he must observe fasting for the day, and after shaving his head clean, he must take a bath in a river or ocean near the holy place. These methods are adopted to neutralize the effects of sinful activities. Visiting a holy place of pilgrimage means neutralizing the reactions of a sinful life. Those who go to holy places of pilgrimage actually unload the reactions of their sinful lives. And consequently, holy places are overloaded with sinful activities left there by visitors. When a saintly person or pure devotee visits such a holy place, he absorbs the sinful effects left by the common man and again purifies the holy place. Tirti kurvanti tirtani. Therefore, a common man's visit to a holy place and an exalted saintly person's visit there are different. The common man leaves his sins in the holy place, and a saintly person or devotee cleanses these sins simply by his presence. The devotees of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu were not common men, and they could not be subjected to the rules and regulations governing the visiting of holy places. Rather, they exhibited their spontaneous love for Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Immediately upon arrival at the holy place, they went to see Lord Caitanya. And by his order, they took Mahaprasadam without following the regulations governing holy places. The scriptural injunctions for shaving and fasting are indirect orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, when there is a direct order from the Lord to take prasadam, naturally the devotees take prasadam as their first duty. When Mahaprasadam is not available, there must be fasting. But when the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly orders one to take prasadam, neglecting such an opportunity is offensive. When Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu is distributing prasadam with his transcendental hand, who will neglect such an opportunity and accept the regulative principle of fasting? Previously, the Lord gave me Mahaprasadam rice one morning, and I ate it just sitting on my bed, without having even washed my mouth. The man to whom the Lord shows his mercy by inspiring him within his heart takes shelter only of Lord Krishna and abandons all Vedic and social customs. This is also the teaching of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita 1866. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja antam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishami masuchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Such firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible only by the mercy of the Lord. The Lord is sitting in everyone's heart, within everyone's heart, and when he personally inspires his devotee, the devotee does not stick to the Vedic principles or social customs, but rather devotes himself to the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is confirmed in the following verse from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 4:29-46. Yada yam anugrinati bhagavan atma bhavita sa jahati matim loke Beda parinishtitam. When one is inspired by the Lord who is sitting in everyone's heart, he does not care for social custom or Vedic regulative principles. This instruction, Bhagavatam 4:29-46, was given by Narada Goswami to King Prachinabarhi in connection with the story of Puranjana. Here Narada implies that without the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot extricate himself from the fruit of activities that are under the jurisdiction of the Vedas. In previous verses, Narada admits that even personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Manu, the Prajapatis headed by Daksha, the four Kumaras Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Balaha, Kratu, Brigu, Vasishta, and even Narada himself could not properly receive the causeless mercy of the Lord. After this, King Prataparuja came down from the top of his palace to the ground and called for Kashi Mishra, the inspector of the temple. Maharaj Prataparuja then told both Kashi Mishra and the temple inspector, provide all the devotees and associates of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu with comfortable residences, convenient eating facilities for prasadam, and convenient visiting arrangements at the temple, so that there will not be any difficulty. The orders of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu must be carefully carried out. Although the Lord may not give direct orders, you are still to carry out his orders simply by understanding his indications. Saying this, the king gave them permission to leave. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also went to see the assembly of all the Vaishnavas. From a distant place, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya watching the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. From a distant place, Gopinath Acharya and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya watched the meeting of all the Vaishnavas with Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Beginning from the right side of the Lion Gate, or the main gate of the temple, all the Vaishnavas began to proceed toward the house of Kashi Mishra. In the meantime, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, accompanied by his personal associates, met all the Vaishnavas on the road with great jubilation. Now we'll take a few reflections or questions.
Hare Krishna. It's mentioned by Srila Prabhupada several times that devotees who engage in the propagation of the holy name of Krishna, especially the pure name, the Sankirtan movement of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, that they are Nitya-siddhas. So, are there different understandings of Nitya-siddha? Because Nitya-siddha technically means eternally liberated. Yet this definition may also be applicable to persons who have recently taken up this practice of the pure chanting and of the distribution of the holy name. Could you clarify?
Yeah, there are different definitions of many of the spiritual positioning. Different definitions of Uttam, Madhyam, and Kṛṣṇa, according to the Shastra, of which Shastra is discussing. Those are different. There are different ideas. And as far as Nitya-siddha goes, there are also different descriptions of Nitya-siddha. Sometimes Prabhupada describes how Lord Nityananda is a Nitya-siddha, maybe a few others. That's it. But in this context, there's a way in which Kṛṣṇa describes to Uddhava in the 11th Canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam that the soul's never really liberated from the material world because he was never bound in the first place. There is no liberation unless you're actually bound to the material world, but the living entity, Asaṅgo ayaṁ puruṣaḥ, he never had anything to do with it in the first place. So he's never really connected with it. So this idea of like now he's liberated is a misnomer. Kṛṣṇa says that, plain and clear. And so, being more liberal with the idea of Nitya-siddha, if you go on other side of the spectrum and you understand that those who are fully engaged with Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu in service, they have nothing to do with the material world anymore, and they've assumed their original condition, which is Nitya-siddha. It's also described how there's sadhana-siddhas, there are kripa-siddhas, there are nitya-siddhas. And in many places, most places, there's special consideration for the nitya-siddhas because they never touched the material world in the first place. But, as Prabhupada writes, siddha is siddha. Whether it's sadhana-siddha or kripa-siddha or Nitya-siddha. Siddha means siddha. Because sometimes people argue over this and it's like, yeah, but that guy's a sadhana siddha or whatever. But siddha is siddha. And besides that, you're a soul. You never touched the material world in the first place. So I think these purports are absolutely charming and encouraging because it's what the devotees feel when they join the Krishna consciousness movement and Lord Chaitanya's movement. It's so potent. Why wouldn't you feel completely liberated because of being fully engaged in the Sankirtan movement? So you're definitely in that category. Okay, let's see if there's any more.
Yeah, my observation was that Mahaprabhu seems he is so strict on certain points of following etiquette and Vedic injunctions, and on others seem to be relaxed. That he indicated, bring prasadam and just have the party even before they visited the temple, shave heads or whatever is expected from pilgrims. And I thought, why is this difference on what particular cases he's lax, so to say? And I would like to confirm if that seems to be the case, that he's very, very strict, especially if there is about something involving, hypocrisy, like devotees being, taken renunciation and then, transgressing that, like Chota Haridas, Kala Krishna Das, or Mahaprabhu saying, I cannot see a king because that's a serious transgression. I cannot be involved in any way with Vishaya, with any sense gratification. But the other less important things like shaving heads and this is not really showing that devotees are hypocritical or something. It's just because they're so overwhelmed by love to see him and take prasad together. So
nice. That's important distinctions you're making. Thank you, Mahendra Prabhu. Let's see from the outside People's Party. Wow, way in the back there. That's a Hail Mary. It looks like Radha Kripa.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I have a reflection. I noticed that the king Prataprudra was in love and he wanted to really meet Lord Chaitanya. But he was equally determined and was showing keen interest in all the associates. So I think it's a great lesson for me that when we are focused on serving or, to our deities or any paraphernalia or anything which link to it, we should be paying proper attention rather than we are only focused on the center and ignoring the associates.
That's a really important point, and I think it also goes to answering Narangi Devi's point. You still there, Narangi? Yeah, I remember because you were talking about... So, Ishvare Taradini, talking about a neophyte, and that's kind of what you might have been indicating, Narangi, when you're talking about somebody who maybe is overly enthusiastic and pushy or something like that. And in the description of the Kṛṣṇa Adhikari, which says, Acharya me vahareye pujam ya sharayeyate natad bhakteshu chantanyesu sabhakta prakrita smitaha. It's described as such a person only sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead and doesn't know how to show respect to the bhaktas. Na puja bhyadika. Sabhakta puja bhyadika. Krishna says, if you want to worship me, worship the bhaktas, not me. And then also, anyeshu means other people. And so, a characteristic, something I think you were getting to, the description of somebody who's seemingly overly enthusiastic to see the Lord, but everybody else can get, pushed out of the way. Like sometimes there's an intense hearing and chanting session going on in the temple, and some neophyte comes in, a Kṛṣṇa Adhikari, sort of barges through like nothing else, nobody else is there, starts doing some ritual to the Lord, and it's me and Krishna. Everybody else they don't even see them. They don't know how to respect or appreciate that Krishna is appreciating these devotees hearing and chanting, as per our meditation on that verse, smarantas smarayantascha, right, earlier. And so that could be a symptom. But we see here from Pratapuruja Maharaj, he was appreciating all the devotees, seeing how they were coming and effulgent and everything. So, he's not in that category of somebody who is not able to appreciate others. So he would be more elevated than that Kanishta. Yes?
I was appreciating Pratapuruja Maharaj's freedom from envy, that despite his own inability to have darshan of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when Ramananda Roy requested to take leave and be with Lord Chaitanya, he gave him all facility without no holding back.
That's another one. Yeah, he wasn't stingy either. Because kings can be like that, miserly or whatever, but he gave everything. So when he saves Gopinath Patanyayaka also, in the end, I guess that's in the Antya-lila, but he saves Gopinath Patanyayaka and then doubles his salary, gives him a promotion. Anything else? Yes.
When I was hearing about all the objections that King Prataparudra brought up about the different rituals or different prescriptions that devotees should have followed entering the Dham, it made me think sometimes when we go on Sankirtan, we meet people from a Hindu background that will say, "Oh, I won't take the book because of this or that. I had no badge today," or they bring up so many reasons that are connected to some kind of ritualistic point of view. But we try to explain to them that actually the book is transcendental and is beyond all of that. There's not really a point, but it just made me.
No, it's a good point.
Think of that.
It's definitely there, and in another way, it's endearing, because who has such appreciation for transcendental literatures? You give it to a Westerner, and some guy gave me $20 the other day on the street in Toronto, and I walked around the corner and he left it on the ledge of a restaurant. And he's like, well, I can't carry it. Whereas somebody else from that Hindu culture, you're talking about, you go to their house and they go, "Oh, we can't take it because we ate meat today, so we don't even want to take the book into the house," because they're appreciating that it's God. There was was it a Jain couple? They have a thing about scripture coming in the house, and I was a little bit forceful and I made him take it, and then it came back in the mail a week later to the temple. So yeah, that's there. But yeah, sometimes it can be very superficial also, because they don't understand that, or they don't have the same mood that we have, that it's Lord Chaitanya's time, anything goes, everybody's game. We don't consider time, place, circumstance, who's qualified, unqualified, everything goes everywhere. Okay, last chances, because we're getting down to it. Yes?
Prabhu, I wanted to reflect on how
yes, please go ahead.
King Prataparudra was receiving the mercy via the devotees. And I've experienced many times in my own personal spiritual life how the mercy comes via the devotees instead of trying directly to approach the Lord or force my way into getting the Lord's mercy. It sometimes descends through the Vaishnavas or by approaching the Vaishnavas humbly.
Such a nice point. We welcome Gopal and his daughter Kameshwari, who just arrived. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Okay, last chance. Who would like to comment?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. That's an online question.
Okay.
It's from Grace Zhu.
Oh, good.
Hare Krishna, pranams. I have a question about a subject you addressed. What about attention in japa if you are multitasking but it's for the Lord. So for example, you are doing japa, but you are also drawing him at the same time. Or making,
doing what?
If you are doing japa, but you are also drawing him.
I was? Oh, if you were like the you of somebody.
Or if one is drawing him at the same time, or making something for him, is that still just as attentive as doing only japa, or not so much? I do notice one thing at a time is lovely and a bit easier, but when doing both, it's still all engaging our thoughts towards or for Krishna. Thank you for any elaborations.
Well, japa is really meant, is your time when you get to do swadhyaya and really examine yourself to see if you can focus. It's really hard to tell if you're focused or not when you're doing two things at once. But when you actually sit down and don't move around and chant, and I'm not saying you can never move, but I'm just saying everyone should have the opportunity to sit and see if you can sit. As when Arjuna asked Krishna, what's the sign of a self-realized person who's fixed in consciousness, stita pragya? And how does he sit? And like the question is, can he sit? He sit down, it's like, and his voice get up, get up, get up. And it's like, who said that? Like, I don't know, but I gotta go. Just like people on the street, the light changes. You know, you're on the street talking and there's a stoplight and it changes and I gotta go. It's like, you could just take 10 more seconds, a light changed. And so it's invaluable to have some to give undivided attention during japa period where you can test yourself and then see if you can break through into absorption. Because if you can break through to absorption, then you're not very far away from getting a taste. Because from absorption, and just hearing the holy name, then you realize there's nowhere else to go. And everything else is present here. So you might miss that if you're doing two things at once. Of course, it is recommended to keep chanting, even while you're cooking or you're doing other things. But I wouldn't count it as japa, because then you can start hanging curtain rods and doing. I've seen it. I've seen somebody doing their Gayatri and they were hanging a curtain rod at the same time. And so that kind of thing, it deprives one of the opportunity to test oneself and come up against just the blank wall of your mind and see, can I break through and actually contact the Lord by my sincerity and my using my free will to put my attention on the holy name and nothing else and just keep bringing it back. So that's my answer. Om Tat Sat. So tonight we're starting the Uddhava Vrat, which means offering lamp. And last year, some of you were here last year, but we ended with offering a lamp here to the Lord. And there's also the offering a lamp upstairs. And so because we have what we were doing last year is doing a lamp offering here, and then of course we can't give lamps to everybody in here because we don't have enough. But we can sing the song here and offer the lamp, and then if you want to offer an individual lamp, you can go upstairs. And Maharaj told me today that they'll be offering the lamps up there too. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, we did reach our page quota today. Thanks for all the help we got from Amrita Sagar and everybody working behind the scenes to make sure everything works and goes on, and those of you who have been helping in the kitchen to cook during the hard time in the ashram, and those of you who are serving prasadam and doing so much work. Yes? What happened? A lizard? Well, what else is he going to do? Okay, watch out, buddy. They stay behind the pictures, right? It's a good gig. You live right by the light bulb and then everyone comes to you. Dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu, Shri Panchatattva, Shri Gaura-Nitai, Shri Krishna Balaram, Shri Radhe Shyam. Dear Giriraj Maharaj, if you so desire, please let us give full attention to our devotional activities as per the verse Tasmat Ekena Manasa Bhagavan Satvatam Bhati Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Dhyaya Pujams Nitya-siddha, and please allow us full absorption, and also please give us the strength to avoid scrolling or wasting our attention on anything random in this world, and fix our minds on your lotus feet. Thank you for considering our request. Om Tat Sat. Everyone agrees with this prayer in whole or in part. Please say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Gaur Premanande. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Bo. Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo.